Island, and this is my city's only Ironman, which I'm dubbing the City Slicker Ironman. The idea, obviously, is to have an Ironman limited to only cities. And I've watched many different YouTubers create Snowflake Iron Man accounts, such as Caveman Only's Underground Iron Man and RAR's 2005 Only Iron Man. And if you haven't heard of those, then you should definitely go check them out because they are awesome series. Now, there are several other Iron Man series besides the two that I listed, and I'm not going to go through them all because there's just too many to name, and there's some really, really great ones that, I could probably spend hours talking about. But this is going to be my take on a Snowflake Iron Man. And I don't know if the series been done before. I haven't seen anything about it, so I hope it's, relatively original. And I really look forward to trying and squeeze out every bit of content I can out of just the cities in this game. Now, every Iron Man, Snowflake Iron Man account needs a set of rules. And what exactly defines a city? Now, it can be defined in many things, such as if there's a castle, then it's a castle city. But I kind of decided that I wanted cities to be defined as something that takes over the majority, or at least 75% of a map tile. Now, the map tiles are laid out before you, as you can see. Um, Now you'll see that Lumbridge is pretty much completely within a map tile and does in fact cover over 75% of it. Now if we go to another major city like Varrock, Varrock actually covers way more than one. Um, Now with this ideology in mind, there are certain places that I can go and certain places that I can't go. Now, the Grand Tree is in one major map tile, Artie's in one big map tile. But then there's other, like smaller places that you like villages. Now, let's go and take Barbarian Village, for example, which is right here. Now, you could say this is probably about 50%, maybe 25% even of a map tile. So Barbarian Village would not be accessible, meaning Edgeville just above it would be accessible. Now, how do you define if something is filled up or not? And I guess that is by person basis. In this case, I am taking it as in the land area of each house, if there are particular icons that cover the map tile. Um, so like in this case, Barbarian Village, you have these two fish of this little house and all of this right here, right? And we'll even consider the road in this, but even with the road and everything there, you really can't like look at it and say this is a full map tile or even 75% of one. Now, Draenor Manor in this case would cover 75% of a map tile, but I'm not going to consider Draenor Manor a place that I could go, and that's because a city has to be populated, and that means there would be comings and goings, people who could travel it freely. And Draenor Manor's manor. It's not a city, it's not a town, it's somebody's estate, and therefore I would not go there. Now Draenor, in and of itself, I would say this map tile, it's probably only half full, therefore I would not be able to go there. Port Sarim is very full, very, very, very full, and I would say that, the docks in this case, because there are so many, travel points, that it would be considered travelable. Now, there's so many to go through. I'm not going to go through all of them in the beginning of this video. We'll get to them as time goes on. And hey, I might need some help from the viewers if I get viewers to give me a hand and say, I think this is fair. I think this is unfair because I don't want to make this easy. It's not the point of the series is to be easy. The point of it is to put restrictions on the account and, really get into the nitty gritty of each map tile. Now that we have all that out of the way, let's get into the real meat of this account, right? The fun stuff. What people want to see, the things that I want to do. Well, I hope that people want to see. That is yet to be determined. Wish a brother luck kind of thing. But let's get into that. So the progression of this account is going to be initially locked behind the magic requirement of each individual place and the level needed to get to each individual place. Such as to get to Varrock, I would need to get 25 magic to be able to teleport there, and that's to cut down the amount of time that I would spend outside of a city. Now, that only goes so far, so we can only go up to Krend Castle Teleport, which I believe actually requires a quest. But either way, eventually I would get these teleports, and then I run out of places that I can go to. And, eventually I'm going to want to go to, like, somewhere like Relica, right? And I think my stipulation would be that once I could go to Relica, I could do it, but I would need to get the Enchanted Lyre. And the Enchanted Lyre is locked behind the Fremenic Trials quest. So I would do the Fremenic Trials quest to get the Enchanted Lyre, and then each time I wanted to go back to Relica, I would have to refarm out the Lyre, every 4 or 5 times, or however many times teleports the Lyre gets you. Um, but that actually brings me to another gray area inside uh, these Snowflake Ironman accounts, which is questing. And it's such a gray area because no matter what quest you do, it always brings you outside the confines that you've set for yourself. There's no way around that. And it's always been a big problem for me watching these Snowflake Ironman series because it's just like there's so many little quests that would make things so much easier, or start points that exist within the place that you're in, but you still can't do them because it takes you outside. Now, I have decided for the greater good of the account that I'm going to allow myself to do quests that will get me to new cities like Relica, or to do Priest in Peril to get to Canifis, and things like that. But if the quest doesn't coherently make sense for the account, and it would just make it easier by default just doing it, then I'm not going to do it, because that's really the point of RuneScape. That's not the point of a Snowflake Iron Man. RuneScape's thing is you do all these things that make things easier, but unless it's to unlock a new bit of content for me, then I'm not going to do it. So eventually I'll get to Relic and I'll get the Enchanted Lyre, and the Enchanted Lyre will make it so I can go to Chatizo and Nadasnot and things like that. Um, so with the initial magic lock, and then from there being able to quest to get to the things that I need, even with the prerequisites, that makes it, that much more interesting for the account. With that brings the end of my rules and ideas for this account. And I'm sure there are things that I haven't thought of, and, problems that I'm going to face as they come up. But, when we get there, we get there. And hopefully by that point, I have, whichever viewers are supporting me at the time, to give me guidance and kind of figure things out along the way. And that goes as well as for recording and everything that I'm doing, because I'm still very, very new to all of this. So any help anyone wants to give me would be so very much appreciated, because I have like a half a handle on what I'm doing. I'm doing my best, man. So I hope you guys all enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in episode 1.